This is Faheem Mustafa. Welcome to dietingmedics.com. Today we learn about the health benefits of the ketogenic diet, and the number one health benefit is weight loss. Ketogenic diet reduces the body weight, and the mechanism behind this is yet not well understood. But original hypothesis was that ketogenic diet reduced the body weight by losing the extra energy through the excretion of ketone bodies. But now numerous hypotheses have been proposed, and one of that hypothesis is that in the ketogenic diet, number one hypothesis of the ketogenic diet in reducing the body weight is that during the ketogenic diet, when a person is on the ketogenic diet, about 60 to 65 gram glucose required by our body. Our body need about 60 to 65 gram glucose per day when a person is on the ketogenic diet. And this, from this 60 to 65 gram glucose, about 16% come from glycerol, and remaining 84% glucose is synthesized from protein through the mechanism that is the gluconeogenesis. In the ketogenic diet, about 60 to 65 gram glucose per day required, and that glucose is coming from glycerol and protein. About 16% come from glycerol, and remaining 84% come from protein through a process known as gluconeogenesis. And during the gluconeogenesis, this procedure, synthesis of glucose from protein via gluconeogenesis process, this process is very expensive. About 400 to 600 calories utilized during the synthesis of glucose from protein through the process known as gluconeogenesis. And due to loss of these calories, due to utilization of about 400 to 600 calories during this process, weight loss occur. Listen again. During the gluconeogenesis, about 60 to 65 gram glucose per day required by our body, and about 84% of that glucose is coming from protein, is actually synthesizing from protein through the gluconeogenesis process. But the gluconeogenesis process is very expensive, about 400 to 600 kilocalories per day required, and due to loss of these too much calories, weight loss occur. This was the first hypothesis. Second hypothesis is Second hypothesis is lipogenesis decrease and lipolysis increase. Second hypothesis is that during the ketogenic diet, lipogenesis decrease, that is the synthesis of lipids decrease, and lipolysis, that is the breakdown of lipids, increase. As we discussed in the previous lectures, that in the ketogenic diet, synthesis of hormone insulin decrease, and synthesis of counter regulatory hormones like glucagon and catecholamines, cortisol, and growth hormones. The level of these counter regulatory hormones increase. Due to decrease in the synthesis of insulin and increase in the level of counter regulatory hormones, lipogenesis decrease and lipolysis increase. And another point, that in the ketogenic diet, senses expression of genes that encodes the senses of enzyme responsible for lipogenesis decrease, and expression of genes responsible that encodes enzymes responsible for lipolysis increase. Another point is, second point is that the expression of genes responsible for expression of genes that encode enzymes responsible for lipogenesis decrease, and expression of genes that encode enzymes responsible for lipolysis increase. As a result of this, senses of lipids decrease and breakdown of lipids increase. When fat breakdown, lipolysis increase, as a result, weight loss occur. This was the second hypothesis. Now let's discuss about the third hypothesis. The third hypothesis is appetite decrease during the ketogenic diet, that is due to increased satiety effect of protein in the ketogenic diet. Third hypothesis is, due to ketogenic diet, appetite decrease, and this decrease in appetite is due to increase the satiety effect of protein in the ketogenic diet. And another point is that ketogenic diet, ketone bodies that are synthesized due to ketogenic diet, and more specifically beta hydroxybutyrate, and these ketone bodies actually has suppressed the appetite, has appetite suppressant effect, and as a result of appetite suppressant effect, our body will not take too much calories. That listen again. The third hypothesis is that ketogenic diet has appetite suppressant effect. Ketogenic diet decrease appetite, and that appetite suppressant effect is due to increased satiety effect of protein present in the ketogenic diet. And another point is that ketone bodies also has directly affect the appetite and suppress the appetite, more specifically beta hydroxybutyrate. Beta hydroxybutyrate has appetite suppressant effect. It means during the ketogenic diet, when a person is on ketogenic diet, appetite will decrease. As a result, person will not take enough calories. Person will not take required calories. As a result, weight loss will occur. So the fourth hypothesis is fat oxidation increase during the ketogenic diet. Fourth hypothesis, that is the fat oxidation increase. And this increase in fat oxidation is highlighted by decrease in respiratory coefficient in those people. The person who are on the ketogenic diet also has the respiratory coefficient of those people were less. Fat oxidation mean fat breakdown increase during the ketogenic diet. And this breakdown of fat, this fat increase in fat oxidation was highlighted by decrease in the respiratory coefficient. Let's discuss about the respiratory coefficient. Respiratory coefficient is, that is the volume of oxygen, volume of carbon dioxide produced divided by volume of oxygen consumed by a cell, by an organism or tissue. The respiratory coefficient for glucose respiratory coefficient for one molecule of glucose is that for the metabolism of one molecule of glucose, about 6 carbon dioxide molecules are produced and 6 oxygen molecules are used. So as a result, respiratory coefficient will be 1. For protein, for metabolism of one molecule of protein, about 17 molecules of carbon dioxide are produced and 23 molecules of oxygen are consumed, and the respiratory coefficient of protein is 0.8. And respiratory coefficient for fat in the metabolism of one molecule of fat, respiratory coefficient will be that about 63 carbon dioxide molecule are produced and 77 oxygen molecule are used, and the respiratory coefficient for fat is 0.7. So you can see that the respiratory coefficient for fat is lowest than glucose and protein. It means when more fat will be used, when breakdown of fat will increase as compared to other molecules, other glucose and protein, as a result, respiratory coefficient will also decrease. The fourth hypothesis is fat oxidation increase, and due to this increase in fat oxidation was highlighted by decrease in respiratory coefficient, and the respiratory coefficient decrease because the respiratory coefficient of fat is lowest than glucose and protein. So when more fat breakdown will occur, respiratory coefficient will automatically decrease. And when the fat oxidation increase, when fat breakdown will increase, it means fat loss will also increase. And when fat loss will increase, weight loss occur. Let's have a recap of all the fourth hypotheses that how the ketogenic diet lead to weight loss. The first hypothesis is that in the ketogenic diet, about 60 to 65 gram glucose required per day, and about 84% of that glucose is coming from protein through the gluconeogenesis process, and about 400 to 600 calories required during this process. That's why due to utilization of too much energy during this process, weight loss occur. The second hypothesis is in the ketogenic diet, lipogenesis decrease and lipolysis increase. The decrease in lipogenesis is actually due to decrease in the senses of hormone insulin and increase in senses of counter-regulatory hormones, and due to increase in level of counter-regulatory hormones, lipolysis increase. And another point, expression of genes responsible for expression of genes that encode enzyme responsible for lipogenesis decrease, and expression of genes that encode enzymes responsible for lipolysis increase. Third hypothesis, appetite decrease during the ketogenic diet, and that decrease in appetite is due to increase the satiety effect of protein. And second point is that ketone bodies has appetite suppression effect. Due to suppression effect of ketogenic diet, total caloric intake will decrease. As a result, weight loss will occur. Final point, that is final hypothesis, last fourth hypothesis is fat oxidation increase. And when the fat oxidation increase, it means fat loss will also increase, and as fat loss will increase, weight loss occur.